What is Rotary? We're a network of people like you. In fact, we're the original social network. More than 1 million of us live just about everywhere you can think of. And we mean everywhere. We get together to exchange ideas, grow our businesses, and make new friends. We volunteer to help our own communities or someone else's. We're right around the corner. Come join us. The name is Rotary. Rotary International. You're welcome.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. We have an exceptional program for you today, the Above and Beyond Awards. We're going to do things a little bit different order, so keep your hats on. The invocation will be presented by Tulsa Police and Fire Chaplaincy Corps Executive Director, Danny Lynchard. We will then have the presentation of the colors by the Tulsa Fire Department Color Guard and the Tulsa Police Department Color Guard. And then Honor Guard Commander Grimes will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Star Spangled Banner by Detective Reggie Warren and accompanied by Tom Wolf. Visitor introductions will be by Michael Willis. So now, as you're standing, if I could have the invocation, please.
I would like to thank the Rotary Club for allowing me to do this. I've been here since the very first one, and I've learned so much by being around firefighters and police officers. A police officer told me that firefighters go where others fear to tread after staging until the police tell them it's safe. And the firefighters tell me the only reason police are allowed at a fire scene is because they're too busy to direct the traffic. Our one true God and Heavenly Father, you hold the hearts of kings in your hand and can turn them to the right and to the left. You can speak so loudly the mountains shake, or so softly it can only be heard by one heart at a time. It is there you make the true firefighters, police officers, ministers, journalists, presidents, and special people of all walks of life. The Above and Beyond Awards can only be won by hearts so filled with the call of God that it transports them farther into service and thus ahead of the crowd. As we celebrate their work here today, O God, we also celebrate the significance of such a still, small voice that leads these wonderful people to make our world a better place. So thus we issue our appreciation to them and our thanks to you for choosing so well. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
What a terrific beginning to our program. If you please take your seats. My name is Michael Willis, and I'm happy to be here to introduce our guests and visiting Rotarians today. And I just want to say it's especially a great deal for me since my volunteer time I get to dabble a little bit in police work as a Tulsa Police Reserve officer, which is a point of pride for me. We're going to do an abbreviated introduction of our guests and visiting Rotarians today. We have so many guests with us today. I would just say that if you are a guest, if you and your host Rotarian would please stand and we will recognize you. Don't be shy. Here we go. Thank you all very much. We hope you come back again. If you are a visiting Rotarian or a member of the Rotaract, we would like you to stand and we will give you a high Rotarian. So all of you, please stand. I know we have a handful here. Don't be shy. High Rotarians. Thank you all again. And again, we're really glad that you're all here, and we hope you'll come back and visit us again soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. And, you know, I usually sing along to the Star Spangled Banner, but I cannot keep up with that. Thank you very much. President Linda Bradshaw has asked me to let you know that we're kicking off our fireside meetings, and she's looking to recruit hosts for that effort for this April 2017 session. It's the 17th through the 21st. If you're interested in being a host, please contact Linda. It will be a great time. You'll get to learn more about the Rotarians than you normally would because it's in an informal setting in their homes. So please see Linda after the meeting. We have two books to recognize today's honorees that will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton Elementary. In lieu of a speaker's gift, we fill up their library with books, and we have two special ones today. The first is Emergency Rescue for our fire department, and the next is Police Officers on Patrol for our police department. We'll have those inscribed and given to the library, and they'll be there for many years to come. One of our upcoming programs next week, if you're a sports fan, be sure and bring a guest. Put this one on your calendar. Kelly Masters, the first female sports agent, is going to be with us. She has a great story of overcoming in a man's profession, but also great stories. So it should be a wonderful program, so bring a guest for that. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Rotarian of the Day, Rob Berry. Rob is president of GRB Resources and joined our club in August of 2011. He's just a rookie. He is a Club Foundation Fellow and has served on numerous committees. He was the vice chair of this Above and Beyond Awards program last year, and this year he took the mantle as the chair. So help me welcome our Rotarian of the Day, Mr. Rob Berry.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 10th Annual Above and Beyond Awards. On your tables are flower arrangements which have been provided by J.A. Mathis Company. If you'd like to take one back to your office or home afterwards, please leave $20 on the table following the program, and your donation will benefit the Above and Beyond Awards. Each year, the recipients of these distinguished awards amaze us with not only their courage and determination, but also how they repeatedly go above and beyond the call of duty to help others. This year is no exception. I know you're eager to meet our recipients and hear their stories. We want to extend our sincere appreciation to our presenting sponsors, Tulsa Community Foundation and the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation. Representing the Tulsa Community Foundation is Chief Development Officer Mike Dodson and TCF Program Officers Jessica Sizemore and Holly Rayleigh. Representing the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation is its president, Gene Martin. Will you all please stand? Thank you. Plus our other sponsors, which are displayed on the screens and listed in your printed program. Their donations enable the club to continue this tradition. Will all of our sponsors or their representatives please stand and be recognized? Your generosity supports this event and enables the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation to donate $4,000 in the recipient's name to the charities of their choice. These awards would not be possible without the tireless efforts of the Above and Beyond Awards Committee members, which are also listed on the screens, and especially my Vice Chair, Michelle Koski. Committee members, please stand and be recognized. I thank you all so much. Also, I would be remiss if I did not mention two people who have been absolutely essential in putting this award program together. Ladies, please stand so you may be introduced. Marlo Dean, Assistant to the Fire Chief at the Tulsa Fire Department, and Debbie Stefanik, Administrative Services Officer at the Tulsa Police Department. Ladies. We couldn't do it without you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies. She is celebrating her 25th year at KOTV. She's the co-anchor of the News on 6 at 5 p.m. along with Craig Day and is the station's crime reporter. In addition to the crime beat, she's traveled all over the world covering news that affects Oklahomans. She's a two-time Emmy Award-winning journalist who has received numerous awards and honors, including the Newsy Award by the Tulsa Press Club for Favorite Reporter in 2013 and the Tulsa Police Department Citizens Appreciation Award in 2005, as well as many more. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming back for the fourth time as our Master of Ceremonies, Lori Fulbright.
Thank you so much. It is so great to be here again this year. I am very excited and very honored to be here, to be the MC, to be a part of this event. Thank you so much, Rotary, for inviting me back. Every year, I think last year's recipients can't possibly be topped, and then the next year, they are. These recipients are just amazing, and what I like about both of them this year is they are what I like to call late bloomers. And they didn't really get their calling in life until a little bit later. But when they heard that call, boy, did they step up. With our officer, it was seeing those towers fall on 9/11. And he said to himself, I've got to do something. And then he had a birth of a child, and then another birth of a child, and then he blew out his knee. And a lot of people would have thought, well, it seemed good at the time. But that seed of service and duty never left his heart. And so as a man in his 30s, off he went to basic training. And then he served in combat in 2 different locations, both Iraq and Afghanistan. I interviewed him when he first decided to sign up and go, and then I interviewed him again when he got home with his Purple Heart after being injured while serving our country. And our firefighter, for him, it was coming up on a terrible car accident and wanting so much to help. He didn't really have the skills, but he saw those firefighters get in there and those EMS people, and he offered to do anything he could, but that planted that seed of service in his heart. And as these things go, he simmered on it a bit, because who leaves a successful career with a printing company and decides at almost 40 to go through the physical and mental rigors of the fire academy? I love it, but there's something more about both of our recipients this year, and that is, while they've both helped hundreds of people in their career, there's no doubt, each one of them came across the path of one person that they went above and beyond to serve and to help. And those are the stories I cannot wait for you guys to hear in just a little bit. But before we get to that, I would like to introduce to you our honorable mayor, the city's 40th mayor, G.T. Bynum. He has been a member of the Rotary Club for 9 years, and as mayor, he is now an honorary member. So please help me in welcoming Mayor G.T. Bynum.
Well, it is wonderful to be here with you today for this. I want to start by recognizing my colleagues from the City Council who are here. Councilor Hall Harper, Councilor Dodson, Councilor Gilbert, Councilor Patrick, Councilor Lakin, Councilor Kimbrough, and Councilor Q. Thank you for everything you do for our city. You know, people have asked me, we're up on, I think, day 90 now on being mayor, and people ask me all the time, what's the biggest difference between being a city councilor and being mayor? And the biggest difference for me has been the opportunity to get to know our city employees on more of an individual basis. That has been a high priority for me. And when you talk about city employees at the City of Tulsa, you have to understand, more often than not, you're talking about somebody in the police department or the fire department. And the thing that has struck me in visiting with these folks and getting to know them better as their mayor is what a devotion to service there is at every level, and in particular in the police department and fire department. You know, these are not people who are doing this for the pay. The pay is better in other cities around here, and that's something we have to work to address. The benefits are not what they used to be. The stability is not what it was when my grandfather was the mayor. We're just 7 years removed from a layoff. Manpower levels are at levels they were in the 1990s, before most of us, well, I was like 13 in 1990, but back then, most of us had not heard of things like global terrorism or methamphetamine, or so many of the challenges that our police officers and our firefighters have to deal with today. And today is probably as challenging a time to be someone in public safety as we've ever known. Not just because of all the things I just mentioned, but the increased scrutiny that you see on the media, and the challenges that we face in Oklahoma from funding these services at the level that they ought to be funded at. And so I think we throw around the term hero a lot, and we're going to recognize 2 heroes today. But for all of us who aren't in here wearing a uniform today, I hope that before you leave today, you will find one of these people that is here in this room today that is wearing a uniform and thank them for being a hero. They are out there willing to give up their life for you in the most challenging circumstances that our city has faced maybe in our history. So thank you to our police department and our firefighters. And on behalf of all of us at the City of Tulsa, I want to thank the Rotary Club and your sponsors for putting on this event year after year and shining a light on this year, each year, 2 individuals, one from our fire department, one from our police department, who really are going above and beyond in their service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few other special guests that I would like to introduce before we talk about those recipients. We've already heard about the city councilors, so if you'll hold your applause until I get all these folks in here, this will go a lot faster, okay? So from the Tulsa County Commissioner's Office, Rotarian and past President Karen Keith and Ron Peters are here, thank you. And from the Tulsa Fire Department, Fire Chief Ray Driscoll and his guests include Deputy Chief Scott Clark, Deputy Chief Andy Teeter, Deputy Chief Michael Atchison, Captain Jerry Brown, District Chief John Steiner, Assistant Chief Stacy Belk, Assistant Chief Doug Woods, Color Guard Coordinator Victor Grimes, and the Color Guard members who always do a beautiful job, and I love it, Fire Equipment Operator Justin Breedlove, and Fire Captain Chance Schedule. So please, big round of applause now. Okay, the same rule applies for this next group. From the Tulsa Police Department, of course, we have the Police Chief Chuck Jordan, and his guests include Deputy Chief Jonathan Brooks, Deputy Chief Eric Daglish, Deputy Chief Dennis Larson, Major Julie Harris, Captain John Corolla, Sergeant Brian Blair, Sergeant Quentin Hawk, Officer Kyle Beck of the Motorcycle Unit, Chris Witt with the Honor Guard Coordinator and the Honor Guard members, Officer Sean Kite and Officer Bob Heidlich, also members of the TPD Impact Team. Applaud here. I really do love that we have such a great turnout for this event, not of just citizens and Rotarians, but these departments show up for their guys and gals, and I really appreciate that very much. So our previous Above and Beyond Award recipients are listed in your program, and I would ask that you take a minute to look them over. We are honored that some of them are here back with us again today, so please stand as I call your name, and once again, please hold your applause until I'm finished with them. 2016 recipient, retired police officer James McClowry. 2013 recipients, firefighter Mark Meyer with his wife Selena and Rotarian and officer Jesse Guardiola. 2012 recipient, police officer Corporal Dan Ward. 2011 recipient, retired police officer Darren Carlock. 2009, are you all standing? I don't see standing. Keep standing. Who said sit down? Thank you. 2009 recipient, police officer Tim O'Keefe. Thank you, Tim. And from our first year in 2008, firefighter Michael Baker. And we honor the memory of police officer Jennifer Mansell and the positive impact she had on our community. Please recognize our previous award winners. Okay, now you can sit down. As you know, and as the mayor spoke about briefly, and you have seen, no doubt, the men and women of Tulsa's police and fire departments wake up every day, and they have no idea what they're going to encounter. They often risk their life and limb while protecting our lives and property, the lives and property of total strangers who aren't always that appreciative. They sometimes have to make split-second decisions, as we've seen, and those outcomes can have lasting effect for many, many years. I know that as a citizen, and I know you are too, it is comforting to know that our firefighters and police officers in Tulsa are expertly trained, and they are prepared to deal with whatever could be thrown at us here in Tulsa. The Rotary Club of Tulsa is recognizing some special individuals who are not only public servants, but also go above and beyond. So a little bit about our past recipients. In 2008, they were honored for improving policing in the downtown area and starting a mentoring program to help an elementary school. In 2009, our recipients led a school running program, worked with Tulsa residents to help correct citation issues, developed a good relationship within the Kendall Whittier neighborhood, mentored students at Hawthorne Elementary, established a junior firefighter program to teach safety at the school, and helped train EMT and paramedic students at Tulsa Tech. The 2010 recipients were honored for saving a man from drowning, serving as a role model as a soccer and baseball coach, plus helping elderly citizens by authoring an Ask a Cop column in the Vintage News magazine. In 2011, our recipients were recognized for preventing future crimes against children, fostering dozens of children under the age of 3, and saving a 62-year-old man trapped in a car underwater. The Oklahoma Firefighters Burn Camp serves 65 to 70 campers every August and is the product of Oklahoma firefighters. So in 2012, we recognized our recipients' tireless efforts to fundraise for the camp and for the organization and participation in officer relief efforts that took place in Alabama and Missouri after devastating tornadoes ripped through those communities. Our 2013 recipients were honored for founding a program called Hydrants of Hope to help families support children with cancer, and for building from scratch an Hispanic outreach program that drastically changed how the Tulsa Police Department interacts with the Hispanic community. Our 2014 recipients were recognized for involvement in the Going Home Animal Rescue and Transport, an organization that gives rescued animals an opportunity to become adoptable pets, and also a firefighter who donated a kidney to a fellow church member using his own personal sick leave and vacation time. In 2015, we recognized our recipients for volunteer work as a wish granter for Make-A-Wish Oklahoma and for saving lives by training police officers on how to use Narcan, which is a nasal spray that can reverse an opiate overdose. And last year, we honored firefighter Dustin Fletcher, who founded 918 Fully Involved, a nonprofit organization that sponsors Smoke and Guns, a mixed martial arts and boxing competition between police officers and firefighters that raises money for the Oklahoma Firefighters Burn Camp and Special Olympics. And we honored police officer Jim McClowry for his many, many, many random acts of kindness to those in need and his involvement in several nonprofit organizations and his volunteerism. But now, it is time to recognize and honor this year's outstanding Tulsa firefighter and Tulsa police officer who have demonstrated exemplary acts of character, commitment, and compassion, not just to their profession, but also to their community. This is the second year the award for the Firefighter of the Year has been named after former Tulsa Fire Chief E. Stanley Hawkins. He died in 2013 at the age of 92. He served the department for 37 years, 21 of those as chief. Chief Hawkins was a former president of the Oklahoma State Firefighters Association and president of the International Association of Fire Chiefs. He was also a past president of Rotary Club of Tulsa, as well as a member of the American Legion, Akdar Shrine, VFW, and Royal Order of Justers. Chief Hawkins' experience, leadership, and service to his community were exemplary and will be long remembered. And we are very honored once again to have his wife, Marcia Hawkins, here with us today. Marcia, please stand. So now, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the Chief of the Tulsa Fire Department so that he can present the Above and Beyond Award for Firefighter of the Year. Please welcome Chief Ray Driscoll.
Well, good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club for doing this each year. You know, the Rotary Club that we've got here in Tulsa, the Downtown Rotary Club, is very unique. It's one of the largest in the country, and I really appreciate the time that they take to make these awards available for us. Chuck and I have a difficult time trying to thank all of our people, so this is a great opportunity that we get to do that, so thank you for that. And second of all, Chuck, you know, usually this is the time of the program where I start jabbing you. So I've tried to decide whether to make up a story or just tell one that's true. But my boss is here, so I don't think I'm going to do either. Okay? I'm just going to kind of let that go. I kind of like my job. So one of the things I was asked to say is to talk about Chief Hawkins. Obviously, Mrs. Hawkins sits next to me when we have our lunch, and I appreciate that. I can't say enough about Chief Hawkins and what he meant to me and the things that he did for me. At his funeral, I spoke about an incident that I had right here in this room whereby I was carrying his plate to the table, and I won't go into all the details, though, but when I carried his plate to the table, some other gentlemen that sat at that table and had for years all but threatened me that I was not going to sit in his spot. And I can tell you I was quite fearful of my life at the time because I knew they were going to carry it out. But Chief Hawkins did mean a lot to me. I talked to him by phone up until his death, and then a few times I would talk to Mrs. Hawkins about how things were going. The man was very inspirational to me in giving me advice about things to do with people, politicians, and just the job in and of itself. He was really a legend. I'm the president of the Fire Chiefs Association for the state right now, and I still have people from across the state ask me about him and you, Mrs. Hawkins. So thank you, ma'am, for being here. So as you've seen, Greg McCourt is a selection for the Firefighter of the Year this year. And it was very interesting when I started reading some things about Greg, how they really paralleled to Chief Hawkins. And the giving heart that Greg has got, that Chief Hawkins did the same thing. Greg, some of the things that you've done for some of these young kids and some of the military troops and some of those people, it's fascinating. And I appreciate you for that, and I love you for that, and you know that. Going forward, there in your program, if you'll notice, it talks about a 7-year-old girl in that program, and you're getting ready to see the story about her. But she's here today, and I'd like to recognize her. Cheyenne, would you stand up, please? She says, I'll just keep standing. This is awesome. Bless your heart. She's a sweetheart. One thing you don't know about Greg McCourt is he was nominated for Firefighter of the Year last year at another event, but he was on vacation and was not going to be able to accept the award. So it's kind of fitting that he would get this one here today. So without any further information from me, if you would focus your attention to the screen, you'll see the video.
The volunteer fire and EMS had just arrived. I told them I don't know what I'm doing, but if I can help, please let me know, because I could tell they had more than they could handle. And so they instructed me how to help a little bit, and it left an impact that I really liked helping, but I was frustrated that I didn't know how to do more. When I got into Academy, I was 37, turned 38 Academy. As the girls were starting to get ready to go to school, we were up at the school, and a friend of my wife's was telling us about her niece who'd been burnt just recently. And it was an accident. She was wearing a, foo-foo princess dress and got near a candle, and it lit off. We got some toys and candy and games and whatnot together. And I was in Academy at that point, and so I brought a card. I had all my classmates sign it, and the training officers. And the training officers picked up on that, and they said, when she comes home, let's welcome her home at Academy. She was very shy. She had a lot of emotional trauma too throughout the process. So it took her a little while to warm up. One of the things we did was took her in a ride in one of the training ladder trucks, and she got to toot the horn, which made a big impact. She felt like her grandma said, she finally felt important, like she had a job. Her birthday's near Christmas. She invited us out to her birthday party. There's a handful of us showed up to that, and that's kind of when she really started to warm up. We got some hugs out of her and pictures. We made her part of our graduation. And I brought her up on stage and introduced her and her story. Her grandma said that was a huge feat just to get her up in front of that many people. Cheyenne was being bullied at school because of the compression clothing she has to wear. We went out of service and we went up to her school and just made it like it was a presentation to the kids, but we also kind of showed them what kind of friends Cheyenne has, that she's got some people behind her. We worked to get her involved with the Oklahoma Firefighter Burn Camp to help that healing, that she knows she's not alone. I knew that me going would help Cheyenne go. I have a familiar face, so we went to that this summer, and it was amazing. It gave me a renewed dedication to do the best I can do, to see those kids that are truly brave and courageous with what they've been through, and to hear their stories. It was amazing, and it made a huge difference on Cheyenne, which was very touching to see. She's very generous. Just recently, her grandma told me a story that she was up north and had $5 to spend at Dollar General, and came across a homeless man and wanted to know his story. He's a Vietnam vet and didn't know what his next meal would be, and she insisted that he take her $5. And that's the type of person she is. It's very humbling, especially to be so new on the job. And it's also why me. I don't feel like I've done anything. And I know so many more of the firefighters out there that do quite a bit. So to have an organization like the Rotary Club that wants to, honor police and firefighters, it's nice to see something like that continue.
If you would, please welcome the 2017 Stanley Hawkins Above and Beyond Firefighter of the Year, Greg McCourt.
Well, Greg, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, we are honored to present you with a check for $2,000 to your designated charity, the Oklahoma Firefighters Burn Camp, also an overnight stay at the Doubletree downtown Hilton, 2 tickets to our Henry P. Iba Citizens Athlete Awards, where you will be recognized once again, and your pin and trophy as a 2017 Above and Beyond Firefighter of the Year.
I thank you all for being here, and I thank the Rotary Club for going out of their way to recognize Tulsa's police and fire departments, and again for allowing my family to be here. I was asked to say something as well as introduce my guests, and since nothing could make me prouder than to introduce the people who have shaped who I am, most of my remarks will be about them. My parents, Jim and Kathy McCourt, have taught me hard work and dedication. I'm going to power through this. My mom is a 20-year cancer survivor who has worked as a faithful servant to her church for more than 30 years. My dad is a U.S. Navy veteran who built a successful small business from only a telephone and a briefcase. Here's a biggie. The bedrock of my achievement is my wife. She constantly reminds me through word and action that everyone deserves consideration and compassion. It was her sacrifice that allowed me to pursue my calling. My beautiful daughters, Marion and Collins, through them I see how to find joy in each day. Marion has the biggest heart I've ever witnessed, and Collins attacks life with an intensity that amazes me. Captain Jerry Brown has pushed me into the worst environments of my life. Smoke so thick and black that flames only a few feet away couldn't be seen. Using an encouragement mixed with words I've never heard before, we move forward. So as iron sharpens iron, he makes me a better firefighter. My district chief, John Steiner, a Murrah building responder and 9/11 volunteer worker, is the epitome of leading from the front. Imagine a chief so concerned with the well-being of his exhausted men that you find him atop a fire engine helping load fire hose. Cheyenne's grandma, Charlene Mann, is a tirelessly devoted woman who is single-handedly raising 8 grandbabies, giving them everything she can while striving to give them better. She's an inspiration to taking care of your own. And then there's my buddy Cheyenne Reed. It's hard to miss the big pink bow. When I met Cheyenne, I saw an anxious and troubled kid closed off in a shell. So we gave her a job and she felt value. When she invited us to her 7th birthday, she was deciding that maybe we were friends and we got hugs. At our graduation, she became an honorary cadet of Tulsa Fire Class 101, and we got smiles. When she was being bullied, we went to her school to show the kids who had shies back, and we got trust. When Shy and I went to burn camp, and she got to see that she wasn't just the burn kid, we got to witness the blossoming of a generous and vibrant child. Valerie and I teach our girls to choose their friends carefully because we believe a person is a product of who they surround themselves with. It is my blessing to be honored by the people in this room It's my blessing to be surrounded by the people in this room and those on duty back at the house. I'm honored to be a part of the Tulsa Fire Department, where actions you recognize as commendable are commonplace. What's been remarkable to me about the attention received is that I've realized that it doesn't take a grand gesture to make a difference in someone's life. All I've done is be a friend. Thank you.
You can't tell it by this, but Greg was very hard to interview because both he and Chad said, "You're not going to make me cry." Sure, now. The thing about Greg is when I interviewed Greg and sat down for that interview is he kept deflecting attention to others. He kept saying, well, it was my chief, and it was my district chief, and it was the guys at the academy, and he wouldn't tell me what he had done because he simply didn't think it was that amazing. But it is not amazing what he's done, so another big round of applause for Greg McCourt. And now here to present the Above and Beyond Award for the Police Officer of the Year is Chief of the Tulsa Police Department, Chuck Jordan.
First, I'd like to thank the mayor for being here so Chief Driscoll can't throw jabs at me. GT, I appreciate it, buddy. Second of all, to kind of echo what Chief Driscoll said about Chief Hawkins, I came on in 1969. Chief Hawkins was the fire chief, Jack Purdy was the chief of police, and Mayor Robert LaFortune was our mayor. And nobody could have looked for better leadership to lead our city through. You know, any time in history is tough times when you're trying to get a city through it. And those three men were exemplary, and they showed me a lot of things that I still to this day try to emulate. Regarding Greg, I've never heard you till I went to Reese's, and your mom goes there. And I'm very quick to say that's the first thing she talks about is how proud she is of her son. And that in itself is a pretty big honor. It's good to hear a mom say that. Police officers, we think of all the qualities a police officer should have. We always think of courage, as well as firefighters. We always think of courage. We think of, in police case, marksmanship. We think of physical capabilities. One thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is compassion and heart. And our recipient today is Chad Moyer, who not only is he a tireless, outstanding investigator, he just completed a really exhausting case on some people that were burglarizing cell phone stores and stealing high-dollar cars. He never stops. He never gives up until those people are caught. And that is certainly exemplary, and that's what we want, obviously. But for somebody to take the kind of compassion he's undertaken to help a fellow soldier, to help his fellow man through some very difficult times, those are the kind of things that I'm really proud of my police officers for. That compassion just is, it's just amazing, and especially for our veterans. And I'm going to let you look at the video now and see just what I'm talking about, how special a man Chad Moyer is.
I mean, literally from the time I was a little kid, I just felt like that's what I wanted to do, and I never changed my mind from it. There's so much stuff that happens. You know, you get obviously the excitement of chasing bad guys or catching criminals about that, but also, you know, there's a lot of good people in the world that need help, and you know, it's good to help them. If I'm in burglary now, and I tell people, I've worked with narcotics and I've worked in the streets, all that kind of stuff, and The first time we recovered a TV, just a simple TV for a lady, she just broke down and cried and was so excited. And it's like, man, for the first time, you really feel like you're helping someone. So that was a neat feeling for me. After 9/11 happened, I just felt like I needed to go. I needed to help serve my country and do whatever I needed to do. And at this point, I'm 32 years old and had knee surgery and everything else. So it was kind of like, oh, now I really gotta figure it out. Yeah. So I joined, went to basic training at 32, and so went to Iraq for a year. I was home about a year and a half total, or almost a year and a half, I guess. And then went to Afghanistan with the 45th Infantry. Coming back, it's a tough transition. So, and I watched several of my friends, have problems with alcohol and pills, stuff like that, and it's just like, man, this is sitting right. And so, I went to burglary, and I got a phone call from a guy I worked with, said, hey, we've got a guy that's throwing your name down, saying, hey, he knows you, was in Afghanistan with you. And yeah, the suspect that was arrested had some stolen checks, what they had on him, and so I said, yeah, I know him. And, he said, what are you gonna do? I said, man, book him in. I mean, I don't, just because you're going through a hard time doesn't mean you still gotta learn your lesson. Then 15 months later, I looked him up and he had a felony warrant. I knew he had a felony, he didn't go to court. I go out there personally, ended up handcuffing him and arresting him personally. Had a pretty good talk with him, and he'd gotten hooked on drugs and methamphetamine, just pretty much anything he get his hands on. So, booked him in, which is tough, but like I said, you don't want to learn by not doing your time. It's tough love, I guess, what I'm trying to say. Just one night I was at home and I get a message from him saying how I need to talk to you, and he had gotten arrested again in Okmulgee County and had been in jail for 6 months. So, luckily he was to the point he realized he needed help, and I've got an uncle that helps get guys into drug and rehab, alcohol rehab, stuff like that. So I got a hold of my uncle, got a hold of the Warriors for Freedom. They actually worked together anyway, so it worked out real well. And he went through that, completed the program, and he's been clean and sober for a little over a year now. He's going back to school to get his master's degree, and so he's doing good. Most of us don't do this stuff for recognition. I just do it because I feel like I need to do it. But for my sergeant, Brian Blair, to look at it and go, man, it's an honor just to even be put in for it, to be considered for it. So to find out that I actually got it, it's very much an honor. It's probably one of the top things I've ever done in the department. 99% of us do our job just because we really truly care about the citizens and care about the city we live in and stuff. And so for a group like this, the Rotary Club, to recognize that and to make sure and put it out there and make it big, to do that it's really nice. It's just special. It reminds us sometimes, because sometimes you forget why you do it, and so it just kind of reminds you of why we do what we do.
Chad, would you come up and join us?
Chad, welcome. And on behalf of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, we are honored to present you with checks for $1,000 each to your two designated charities, Warriors for Freedom and the Wynn Foundation, along with an overnight stay at the DoubleTree by Hilton downtown, 2 tickets to the Henry P. Iba Citizens Athlete Awards, which you will be recognized again at, and a pin and trophy as the 2017 Above and Beyond Police Officer of the Year. Congratulations.
Well, I take a firefight any day over this right here. This is not my comfort level, so I'll struggle through this. Obviously, Greg did a great job, and it's a lot to follow. So, first of all, I'd say thank you to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's a great honor to be up here today. It's an honor to receive this award. I consider it an honor to go to work every day at a job that I love. I truly say that, when I was a kid, they asked me, "What are you going to be as a police officer?" And I really didn't change from that. It's just something I've always felt like I should do and had a calling to do. So, like I said, it's not a job, it's not work. I get up and get to come to work and play and enjoy what I do every day. I'd like to thank my mom. She's been with me my whole life, obviously, and she's been a great, I told you I'm not good at this, I apologize. Yeah, so, you know, both my parents, my dad's passed and been gone now for 12 years, I guess, and, you know, both of them have been a light and a guide for me through church and just through life. My dad's a great man, a veteran, and I appreciate that very much. Appreciate her being here. I also like to thank my son and daughter, Caleb and Casey. They're here, got to skip school, so they're excited. But they're there for me, and you know, as I'm in and out of the house sometimes, they do good jobs keeping the house clean and being able to take care of themselves as sometimes our job calls at late at night and early in the morning. So to them, thank you very much. You know, most of all, I thank the city of Tulsa. You know, I've been around the world. I've seen different police departments in Iraq, Afghanistan, across the United States. And today's age and time, you know, we don't get, not that we deserve respect, but the treatment of police officers and firemen are different than it used to be when I was growing up. I couldn't imagine, honestly, starting fresh and new. It'd be tough right now. But that being said, you know, this city is it's amazing. I mean, things like this happen daily. And it seems like when more and more trials and tribulations come as a city, the closer we get. I mean, I've had more over the last year of people saying thank you and honoring us and buying meals and stuff. I mean, just, it's amazing. So it's an honor to get to serve the city of Tulsa. You know, I've been doing this for 19 years, and I truly, truly love the city, and I love my job. So I'm really not reading anything at all now, actually. So I apologize. But as you saw, you know, I was a squad leader in Afghanistan. I got fortunate to lead some men through combat. And coming home, you know, the veterans, people don't understand. It's hard to explain what veterans go through when they come home. You know, and if you talk to a veteran, they'll tell you, I'd rather be over there any day than here. And most people don't understand that, but it's because life is simple over there. As much as it sounds crazy, life is simple over there, and it's not here. Here, I'm dad, I'm son, I'm police officer, I'm paying bills, I'm doing everything else. So a lot of those guys struggle, and I've seen a lot of my friends struggle. And so just that being there, you know, I felt in my heart that I needed to help something. I didn't do it for recognition. I didn't do everything. I just did it because I felt like I needed to do it. And Aaron was put in my life for a reason, and you know, it's worked out. Through the WIN Foundation, it's a great foundation. They actually go in, and not just veterans, they'll do anybody, but they help get people through issues they have with drugs and narcotics or whatever. And then a group that I've come familiar with and I do a lot of stuff with now is Warriors for Freedom. They do kind of the same thing. They're there for veterans day in and day out for anything, food, place to stay, shelter. We do lots of fundraising, and so fortunate to get hooked up with that group and get to help them out and volunteer with them. So once again, I would say thank you to the Rotary Club. This is a very, very special honor, and thank you everyone for being here.
When I interviewed Chad for the video, one of the stories he told me that I didn't have time to include was his grandpa, who's been a preacher forever, sat him down and said, I don't understand why you have to do this, when he decided he was going off to war and leaving a young family at home. And Chad said to his grandpa, you know, Grandpa, some men are made to be preachers, but some men are made to do other things that maybe people don't want to do or are not comfortable doing, and that's me. And I truly believe that I am where I need to be. And that is very clear from the life that he has led. So another big round of applause for Chad Moyer. I told you at the beginning you were going to be impressed. I don't know how we top them every year, but it is amazing to me, the service, the commitment. I love it. Thank you all so much for being here. We are about to wrap up our program. We appreciate your time. I want to give another big thanks to Mayor Bynum, Fire Chief Ray Driscoll, and of course Police Chief Chuck Jordan for their support. And we just have a few more remarks and then we're going to let you go. But again, thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to be a part of today.
Thank you, Lori, and especially thanks to KOTV. If you can come join me. For your dedication, not only you personally, but the station as well. I know they dedicate resources for this, and it's such an honor to partner with you to be able to recognize these wonderful firefighters and police officers, and we wanted to give you a little bit of appreciation with some flowers. And thank you very much. And we have some people in the back of the room that are going to make their way forward, and we have some flowers for some of our other special guests today. So don't forget, if you would like a centerpiece, throw a $20 bill on a table and arm wrestle the person next to you, and you can have it. All the donations will go to the Above and Beyond Awards Committee. Thank you all for being a part of today's program. I'm humbled and honored to serve this club in my capacity during events like this. This is what makes it so important. Our firefighters and our police officers really do live out our motto of service above self. But where I get to do it in the comfort of engaging in the community, you do it under the line of fire and danger every day. So that is such a special contribution you give to this community, and we are very honored to be able to recognize you in this way. Thank you very much. Rob and Michelle, thank you very much for your efforts in pulling this off. And again, Lori, thank you again for your partnership. And I encourage you to tell your friends and family about Rotary, but more importantly, I encourage you to have them greet these officers and firefighters on the street as they see them and let them know how much they appreciate them. And with that, we are adjourned.